Okay, so today we've got a special video, the box logo hoodie against the shark hoodie. So we're going to start with the box logo hoodie. We're going to be criterion them in 7 different aspects and overall deciding which one's the best for banging your book. I know which one I prefer, but I'm not going to say that because that might bias people's opinions. So first off, we've got the box logo and we're starting off with design. Just a basic box on a basic hoodie. You can see little tag down there. It says Supreme on it. You know, tag on the inside with the care label and that. Other than that, though, there's not much to say in the way of design on a regular box logo hoodie. They all tend to have similar designs. One of my favourite design ones is the CDG collab with the inverted box logo, but that doesn't count as a regular because that's a collab. So this one's my favourite regular one. That's why it was my first box logo hoodie. My first box logo in general was a t-shirt, and my first overwear one was a crew neck. A very rare black and red crew neck. But this one is one of my favourites though. Yeah, for sure. It's very simple, but same time that's a very nice magenta pink with neon toxic green. Next off, we're going to go with comfortability, and this one is very comfortable with the little fur lining on it. And the thickness of the hoodie overall will definitely already give it an edge over the Bape one, because I've worn both, and I feel like the Supreme has way more. Like, the Bape's comfortable and warm. This one's just more comfortable and more warm, so I think warmth goes to this one, despite, you know, the design being a bit plain. Next up is resale price, and I know that these resell for about 1,000. Sometimes, like, the lowest I've seen them go for is 850. But they tend to be around the 1,900 mark for this particular one, the neon green and magenta. Yeah, so that can be quite a hefty price to pay for such a plain jumper. Some people might debate. Next up is hype, and I feel like this might just be getting a box logo hoodie if you're just wanting the hype. Might be the best option, because box logos are a classic piece, you know, a status symbol as well, for sure. Even the box logo t-shirts, which are a bit cheaper, they are a status symbol for sure. Like, when you wear this, you've definitely got some power in the streetwear community, because not everybody can afford a box logo, so getting one is definitely giving you the status thinger that you crave, obviously, if you're collecting stuff like this. And then final thinger will be comparisons to other things you can buy from the brand. Now, there are other hoodies and sweatshirts you could buy from the brand that would maybe give you just as much thingy without having to spend as much money. Like, for example, if you want in something that's not too expensive, I'd say maybe go for the CDG, other CDG hoodie, the one with the flannel hood. I'm definitely going to cop that at some point. Or, you know, maybe even just go for a less expensive box logo, because this one's one of the more expensive ones. You can get the red crew neck for cheaper than that. You can get there's quite a few you can get cheaper than this. I think the black and white one sells for less than this, which I was going to buy that as well, and I still might. But this one was definitely my favourite purchase so far. Also, the peach one's not that bad, and you know, there's always t-shirts and hats you can get that are a little cheaper and will give you just as much hype on your body, for sure, you know what I mean? Give you the same amount of hype you get from it. So, now time to rate each one. So the first one was design, and for design, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10, but some people might give it a 1 or 2 out of 10, because some people aren't as much of a fan of simplicity when it comes to streetwear. But I feel like the simplicity is necessary, and it's very much a simple brand, but, you know, in my opinion, it's effective, because people are paying £1,000 for a basically plain hoodie, so I don't see where it's going wrong. Oh fuck, hold on. That fell off. Now for what's debatably the opposite, but similarities are definitely there, is the pink Bape Shark hoodie. I'm just comparing these because I have them both, and pink Shark hoodie compared to the pink box logo, it only seems right. Okay, now first off is design on this, the shark face obviously standing out because, you know, it's iconic really, isn't it? The shark face, it's very iconic with Bape. Then there's the WGM on the back. For sure, again, quite iconic. World Gone Mad. Then on the inside is the bathing ape tag, along with this. It isn't really part of the design, but I've added it in there still. It's not been taken off. Then it's followed by the ape head camouflage all over the jacket, along with the little shield there. And like with comfortability on the Supreme one, because I forgot to do comfortability, is definitely a 10 out of 10. Little ape head there. And then another little touch that I think gives this one a bit of an edge is the little tag there that says Bape. Well, the little thing there that says Bape on the zipper. Okay, now next up is comfortability, and I hate to say this, but it's not quite as comfortable as the Supreme. It's got a thick layer on as well as the Supreme does. It's got, obviously, you know, it's got a lot of the similar features to Supreme, but it's not quite as comfortable as the Supreme one. Unfortunately, it is comfortable, don't get me wrong, very comfortable, but not quite as comfortable as Supreme. Next up is price point. These resale for about, like I said in the first shoot of this video before the camera died, these are about 500, which is a far cry from the 1,000 range you're looking for the Supreme box logo. So if it's price compared to design, I'd definitely say go Bape over Supreme, because, you know, it's quite a massive design whilst being not as expensive. Sorry, I'm slipping up a bit. And now finally is hype. And Bape, some people say it's just as hype as Supreme, but me, I'll say that it depends where you are, because I'm from England, and in England, everyone's heard of Bape. Not everybody's heard of Supreme, though. You know, like, there's a lot more ape heads over here than there is Supreme heads, because a lot more people, because, like, there's a very big music culture over here called grime, which is UK rappers, but they rap about more grimier stuff, hence the name grime. It was also called grime because they used to steal unused radio stations to publish their music. And a lot of grime artists have seen rocking Bape. None that I know of, though, have rocked Supreme. Only famous radio DJ from over here called Charlie Sloth. I'm pretty sure he's rocked Supreme a few times. But other than that, though, none of the actual grime artists have ever been seen rocking Supreme, while a lot of them are rocking Bape. So if you're in England, Bape's definitely the more hype one over Supreme. But at the same time, though, the people who do know what Supreme is appreciate a Supreme more over here because they rarely get to see it. So that's all down to perspective, that. But I'd definitely say Bape's the one to go with if you're in England, but in America, obviously, Supreme is the shit, and I'd go with over Supreme. But all in all, I'd say Bape's got quite a high hype thingy as well, because it's the other big hypebeast brand. It's either Bape or Supreme when you come to hypebeast culture. Now time for my ratings on the Bape, and this one's gonna be good. Okay. First off was design. On the design, solid 10 out of 10. You know, you can't flaw, like with the Supreme, I gave it a 9, 8, because there are some flaws to it. It's a bit simplistic and overpriced to some people for what it is. and I just had to be kind of honest about that. But at the same time though, with Bape it's harder to floor because it feels like you're getting more for the resale value, because all of the design features to it definitely give it that little extra push as, ooh, like, I'll pay for that. Then there's the, God, what else am I going to say actually? Then there's comfortability. And comfortability, I said 10 out of 10 on Supreme, and I'm going to say 9, maybe an 8 out of 10 on Bape. Not as comfortable as Supreme, but getting there close, for sure. Now, with Supreme, I'd say on a cold England winter night, it'd definitely probably keep you warm. I'm not sure about that though, because I haven't worn it in the cold yet, because we've been having summer over here, but even then summers can get a bit chilly, and that's hence why I've been able to wear it a couple of times. But with Bape, I don't think it'd keep you as warm in the winter. I mean, I imagine it'd still keep you warm, because that lining is fucking still good. So I'd give it an 8 out of 10, like I was saying, maybe a 9. Next off was price point, and at the £500 so pounds you're paying for it compared to the £1,000 for a box logo of that calibre, I'd definitely say thingy, but in general the prices tend to change. There's some Shark hoodies that are worth a lot of money, and there's some Supreme box logos that are worth a bit less. But in general though, I'd say that the price point's a lot better on a Bape Shark hoodie than it is on a Supreme box logo. So I'd say that the price on here is definitely a 10. Because, I mean, there's no way to jump around the fact that it's a bargain to get a Hypebeast piece with this much design for that cheap, when the comparison is paying more money for something more simplistic like that. No, for sure, I'd definitely say the price is 10 out of 10. And now the hype. So 10 out of 10 hype on the Supreme, and I'm probably going to say the same for Bape. The hype also has to be 10 out of 10 if I have to tell the truth, because as much as I may not find Bape as hypebeasty as Supreme, I think the general population would get on my case if the general hypebeast population would get on my case if I gave Bape an 8 in hype and Supreme a 10. When we both know they're both 10s. So all in all, I think Supreme wins the battle, but Bape is no lagging competitor. And therefore, which one would I recommend? Therefore, if you've got the means to, I'd recommend a Supreme more. But if you've got the means to get a Bape, I'd say don't let it discourage you from getting a Bape because you can't afford a Supreme or whatever, or because you don't fancy paying for a Supreme, because a Bape in most cases can be just as good. And I know it's had me talking when I've got both, so I don't really need to pick, but all I know is the next thing I'm getting is another Supreme, not a Bape. But first things first is I'm getting them Off-White Jordans soon, but I'm going with a Supreme over a Bape, but again, that's down to preference, because what I prefer, somebody might not, but personally I'd say Supreme wins, but it's by but not by a horse's mile. It's not that far away from each other. But I personally like more in the pink one specifically, and the reason why I chose specifically the Supreme over the Bape is because I like the green with the pink rather than the pink with the other colours on the Bape. Doesn't mean I don't like the pink Bape as much as I like the pink Supreme, because I'm a pink boy through and through, and these two are my two favourite pieces, you know, from each. Like, that's a personal favourite from Supreme, that's a personal favourite from Bape. Now, are they the ones I want the most for resale? No, obviously, I mean, like, that Supreme resells for a fair bit, and that doesn't resell for nothing, but at the same time, there's Supreme hoodies that if I had them I'd sell because they'd be worth a lot more, and there's Bape as well that I'd sell because it'd be worth a lot more. But to say they're in the personal shows you I like them personally. Sorry, I dropped the camera for a second then. But all in all though, I'd say Bape scores a 9, Supreme scores a 10. But obviously feel free to disagree if you want. And that's it from Michael Talks Fashion, and I'm out.